I'm so excited for this video, I can't even express to you. Hi, hello everyone, welcome into my channel. My name is Jer. I'm going to be talking about one of my absolute favorite international seasons that I've seen thus far, and that is Thailand Season 2. Now I know that a lot of people say that Philippines is the banger, and I can't wait to get to that one too. This is where I'm at right now, and this is what I've just finished. Now I do want to say there's a lot that I'm going to be unpacking in my bi-weekly podcast with my sibling Jessie. Please check that out in my bio. We're going to be getting to Thailand this week, and there's two parts, so there's going to be a lot we're going to be discussing. I want to specifically talk about in this video today why I think Thailand was such a special season and why I feel like this type of format could be adapted into a US Drag Race scenario. I really just hope that people take away from this that the international seasons are worth watching. Please go check it out if you have a WoW Plus subscription. It's so worth it. And they're going into a third season of Thailand, and I can't wait to see how that turns out too. So let's jump into this. First off, the title song for Drag Race Thailand starts with diversity. In the messaging, it includes that this is an inclusive experience, that this is a different thing than what people are used to, and that its focus is diversity. And you can really see that within the cast of people who speak the language and people who speak English, people who come from all walks of life, including beautiful trans women. Art and Pan are the hosts. Pangina, you might remember from UK vs. the World Season 1, and they're both incredible hosts. Pangina tends to be a little more of the Tim Gunn type, someone who is a little more of a mentor, gives them swift kicks in the pants when they need it, and really just hypes up the performers and makes them feel seen while they're on the runway. Whereas Art really does a lot of the final blows. Art is there to give the final critique and to let people know who's going home and who's staying. It's a really incredible format having two people hosting, and I think it works really well here. In the finale, Pangina and Art talks about how through the season they try to construct it in a way that will allow everyone to shine. And with that comes lip syncs. They choose the lip syncs ahead of time so that they coordinate most with the challenges, but they don't intentionally try and manipulate the game. So there are going to be girls who speak Thai who are going to get an English song, and there are going to be English speaking contestants who get a Thai song. That's just the name of the game because the lip syncs were pre-chosen and they knew what they would be. So no one can claim that the show was rigged or that it was set up for someone to succeed over the others. It's like a non-horror version of Boulay Brothers Dragula where everything is set in stone from the beginning and everyone just fits in where they need to go. Another massive difference in Drag Race Thailand to regular seasons of Drag Race is that there are 3 categories per episode. And not every episode follows this. Some of them abandon the mini challenge. But there is a mini challenge with a winner that will receive a prize. The maxi challenge will receive a prize. And the runway is its own separate category. In most seasons of Drag Race, whoever wins the mini challenge will maybe get a prize that they'll never actually receive, and then they'll have some type of advantage in the challenge. Sometimes they just get to choose teams. And then the maxi challenge is whatever it is, and the runway sort of cements someone in the bottom and nails that final nail into their coffin that they're actually out, or secure someone in a top spot. Here in Drag Race Thailand, the runway is its own category. And boy howdy do they get fast and loose with this concept. There were episodes where the very first challenge was insane and the maxi challenge was insane, and then they had to do something even more insane for the runway. Take episode 1, Reborn This Way, where the maxi challenge was to do a photo shoot where they had to pose in a constructed graveyard set that was all the practical set and not green screen, by the way, with the season 1 contestants. And then the runway challenge was to present 2 different looks. This is all on episode 1. There was so much to unpack with each episode because you don't know who's going to be in the bottom. Your scores are for the maxi challenge and for the runway. And Art and Pangina are very fair with their deliberations. During the runway, I noticed something that was massive and a huge difference from other franchises is that the judges aren't cracking jokes. They're critiquing the outfits as they're coming down, saying that they either get or don't get the concept. There was an episode where someone walked down and Pangina turned to one of the other judges and specifically said, "I don't like this, I don't get it." And the queen was still on the stage. In other runways, where someone came out and did something really fun, Pangina and Art would get excited and stand up from their chairs and scream and shout about what was going on and try to be an active participant. It almost felt like an audience watching an actual drag show. The first few episode challenges are focused on photo shoots, which for a cast that has so much diversity within its language, photo shoots are the easiest thing to judge upon. It makes it so that everyone is on an even and fair playing field. They try their best to make everything fair for everyone who's participating. And that's not something Brew would ever do. One of my favorite challenges was in episode 2 where they had to do the Holly Fest, where they had colored powder thrown at them while they were wearing white dresses, and they could wear whatever they wanted to wear that was white. As long as it was white, they could provide whatever character they wanted to. I feel like this could be its own video, just talking about how incredible these looks were, but that would be so much content. And I think you should go and watch it yourself, because it's that good. I need to tell you about the biggest gag of the season. In episode 5, 2 queens are eliminated because their lip sync was that bad. In episode 6, during the elimination, the queen that is eliminated turns to Art and Pan to tell them that one of the queens has cheated in the competition. Pangina goes on a long rant about how this queen now seems like a sore loser for not having said something during the week that the cheating actually happened, and essentially reprimands her for not saying something sooner in a more graceful way. They then call out the queen on stage while everyone is still there and ask if she cheated. And the queen says she did, and is eliminated. 2 double eliminations back to back. And like that, the cast goes from 10 to 8 to 6. In the following episode, someone else is eliminated, and we're in top 5 going into the biggest challenge of the franchise. That is Snatch Game, which, let me just tell you, this was the most bonkers, batshit Snatch Game that I have ever seen. The girls were talking over each other, they were arguing on stage in their characters, they were yelling, they were causing a ruckus, but it wasn't edited in a weird, shifty, shady way. It was edited like a fun variety show. The culture clearly was very different than ours, because something like that on a US season would never fly. But Art and Pangina were just having fun with it, and allowing the girls to really go crazy, like they were caricatures. One of the queens has a mini helicopter that she flies around the studio because her character is a reporter. So she has her helicopter correspondence flying around. One of the other queens stops mid-answer to sing a ballad. It was insane. One of the most wild things I've ever seen, but so highly entertaining. The musical challenge this season had nothing to do with drag. It was about people who were at work and going to work. What does it have to do with drag? Nothing. It's just fun. It's so different from anything we've seen on another season where it's all about drag. It's all about doing drag queen things, but this was just regular woman stuff. Just regular old everyday woman stuff. The only thing I felt funny on was about the finale. I didn't totally agree with who the top 3 were. I agreed with one of them, but the other 2 I felt funny about. This season has a couple of my new very favorites from across the entire franchise. Srimala, I am so obsessed with. I cannot express to you how obsessed I am with this woman. Her first couple of weeks, she looked a little bit cracked out. Her eyes were always this big, and she was very excited to be there and smiled in an uncanny valley type of way. But the more that I listened to her talk and the more that I observed her in the competition, the more I was endeared to her and the more I fell for all of her charm points, the more I appreciated everything that she did. I felt week after week that she was robbed of higher placements and that the judges really were not understanding where she was coming from. One of my other favorites, who I wholeheartedly believe with every part of my being should have been in the finale, was Vanda Miss Joachim. And if I don't see her on some type of international all-stars in the future, I am going to cause a scene. The finale was filmed in a really interesting way as well, because the finalists had to create their own show, similar to how you would see the finalists on Project Runway create their own show. They could conceptualize whatever they wanted, have whatever songs they wanted to do, and just tell a story. And I think that's the most interesting thing I've ever seen. They kind of did something like that for season 15, and I would love if they did this all the time. Allow them to create a 5-minute number with whatever they want it to be. Sell that number with whatever resources they want, and have an entire stage to do that. This was one of the most spectacular seasons of Drag Race that I've ever seen, and I understood almost none of it. I had to look so carefully at the subtitles to pay attention to what was going on, but the art I could appreciate so heavily. The way that Art and Pangina judge in a way that feels so fair and relaxed, but also stern. They don't allow the queens to get away with things. They call out the problems that they're having, but they also make sure to let them know when they're doing a good job. Each one of the guests on the panel get to have a few minutes where they can share their own wisdom, where they've come from in the entertainment industry, and how they can share that wisdom with the performers on stage, letting them know how to use their star power using their own unique perspective in the entertainment business. And I think for a guest judge, they have expertise, they have life experience in the entertainment industry. They should have an opportunity to share that with the contestants. And Drag Race Thailand allows them to do that. That's something I find so special that American Drag Race really could benefit from doing. Allow these guest judges to share their expert knowledge. These people are about to go into the entertainment world and are going to be seen by millions of people across the world. Having just a little bit of extra TV knowledge, a little bit of what would make their career tick better, that would be important for them to hear, not just, I really like your dress and I think you're slaying and no one said you can't cut anyone with a blunt bob. That's not helpful critiques. Allow them to say, some of you are really using your star power well, because every week it allows them to fine tune a little bit more. If they're hearing that they're not quite on the right path and they're not presenting well, they can adjust the next week. And if they hear you're getting it, this was a good week for all of you, then they can say, all right, I don't need to keep adjusting. I already turned the dials where they need to go. Conversely, if they hear that their presentations were weak, they know what to amplify the following week so that they're creating a good show every time. Having judges that are consistent and concise and don't allow them to get away with BS allows for an actual competition. It allows for the best of the best of the best to keep progressing. And people don't get passes because they did good in other challenges. Art even says that just because you've been doing good previously doesn't mean you get a pass this week. If you do bad, you did bad. They judge their scores very fairly, all on 10s, and whoever's at the bottom is at the bottom. And nobody's got more say than someone else. No one's sitting down and overriding the other judges' ideas. If universally someone has low scores, even though Art may have thought they did really good, if the judging panel thought they did bad, they are going to lip sync. It's such a cool format. I love the way that Thailand is constructed, and I hope that 3 carries all of the same attributes that 2 had, because this was brilliant. Highly recommend checking this out. Please also listen to my podcast. It will be coming out this week. My sibling and I will be going very deep into this season in 2 parts, stretched over 2 weeks. So keep an ear out for that. Thank you for watching. If you like other Drag Race content, feel free to check out my channel. I put a lot of Drag Race content out into the world, as well as a lot of gaming stuff too. See you on the flip. Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to click that like button. And if you want to see more, hit subscribe. Goodbye.